In May of 1950, Marin County was still a relatively rural county. In the past decade, its population would double. Not since the quake of '06 had the county experienced a population boom, going from 41,000 in 1941 to 85,000 in 1950. The building of the Golden Gate Bridge and the end of World War II were leading causes for this boom. Passenger train service was still very active. One could take a train from Sausalito to Point Reyes. In 1950, there were 20 fire departments in the county. The focal point for these departments was the Marin County Association of Firemen, where topics of the day were discussed along with mutual aid procedures. Fire trucks were open cab and gas engines, and booster line attack was the norm, with very little, if any, breathing apparatus. Turnouts were canvas rubber, coats and pants, fiberglass helmets, and if you were lucky, a pair of gloves.
You never get rich minding the other fellow's business.
Hey, that's a flyer. I'll be seeing you.
San Rafael was the center of the fire service, with 15 paid staff, responding from one station at the current location on C Street. As the population grew, the hiring of paid firefighters increased. Mostly veterans of World War II were given these opportunities. A 72-hour work week was common. Two examples of the new paid firefighters being hired in San Rafael were Aubrey E. Jack Miller was a World War II veteran and joined the department in 1946. William Sonny Patini Jr. joined the force in October 1949, was a Marine Corps war veteran. Late in the morning of May 21, 1950, 20,000 people were streaming into the city to watch the annual Mission Fiesta Parade. People were 4 deep, hanging out of office windows and peering over housetops to watch 150 floats and marching bands, only to be interrupted by a fire that started at Vista Motors on 812 4th Street.
On the morning of May 21, 1950, around 11:30 a.m., 2 workers of Vista Motors at 812 4th Street were welding metal in the rear of the building near a paint booth when an open quart can of paint thinner ignited. The workers tried to extinguish the fire, knocking over the quart can and in the process an open 5-gallon can of paint thinner. Prior to notifying the fire department, the fire extended into the paint booth area and the rear of the building and ignited the clothes of the workers. They extinguished the fire in their clothing and exited the building. They were treated at a local hospital. The fire was first noticed by Edward Koning, who stated his attention was drawn to the fire by a citizen who was quickly backing his car out of the Lincoln Avenue entrance to the building. He activated the alarm box at 4th Street and Lincoln Avenue at 11:53 a.m., sounding an alarm signal to the main fire station at 5th and C Street. Mar Vista Motors has a barrel-top roof with wooden trusses. On arrival of the first fire truck, the fire had extended to most of the building and eventually required 11 fire trucks and 8 2.5-inch hose lines to extinguish the fire. The fire also extended into a bar, rooming house, and delicatessen. Hose lines were extended into the front of the building off 4th Street by Miller and Bettini. The roof eventually collapsed, trapping the 2 firemen. Miller died at the scene and Bettini at a local hospital. At the time of the collapse, Assistant Chief Matt Hart, Miller's father-in-law, was halfway into the building and escaped injury. Two memorial services were held with firemen attending from throughout Marin County, in addition to 100 San Francisco firemen forming an honor guard. A fund drive was established for the wife and 4 children of Jack Miller. Early donors included Harry Albert, Walter Castro, Independent Journal, and the Elks Club. Roughly 50 years later, the building experienced another fire while serving as a restaurant.